When you're first starting out in photography, available or natural light is everything. But here's the problem. This is natural light. This is natural light. This is natural light. This is also natural light. Sometimes, natural light sucks, both in photography and in life. Don't get me wrong, natural light can be great and is often preferred, but it's not always the best to get you the look you want. So what do you do when natural light isn't working, isn't enough, or just isn't an option? Well, today, I want to share with you the ultimate budget flash setup to get you started in portrait photography. I know at first flash can seem like this crazy complicated or even scary subject. It's hard to know where to start and what to do to get the kind of photos you want. And I'm sure many of you think the same that I did, that not only is it complicated, but it's expensive too. Well, today I want to break it down and demystify how to get amazing flash photography portraits and go over the perfect budget-friendly starter kit. Because we're talking about quality on a budget, I'm going to use a more basic camera and lens combo. I've got the Sony a6400 and the Sony 35mm f1.8. This is a great combo that is going to give us some amazing results. As for the flash gear, here's what we need. We'll be taking portraits with off-camera flash, so we'll need a light stand to hold our flash and accessories. Next, we have the flash bracket, the Godox S-type bracket. I like this style because it keeps the speed light close to the center of whatever modifier you're using, and it has an umbrella and Bowens mount, which allows you to use a ton of different modifiers. We've got the flash itself, which is a Godox speed light. I recommend the Godox TT600, which is almost exactly the same as the one I'm using here, except for it runs on AA batteries instead of the rechargeable lithium-ion battery. This one has TTL where the TT600 doesn't. I'm using the S model, which works for Sony cameras, but they have different models for each major camera brand. C for Canon, N for Nikon, F for Fuji, and so on. Quick side note, TTL stands for through the lens, and it's basically an auto mode for the power of your flash. If you're doing event work, it can be helpful, but I think for the sake of learning, it's better to learn manual first anyway. So I'd save the money and just go with the TT600. Great, now we have the flash off the camera and on the light stand. So we need a way for the camera to communicate with the flash. So this is the flash trigger we'll be using, the Godox X2T. And again, using the S version for Sony. Okay, at this point, it might seem like this video is sponsored by Godox. And it's not, because I'm not a voice for the corporate machine. This video is brought to you by the burning desire to take the skills I have and teach them to my friends and watch those skills grow and multiply until we're all the best photographers and video creators we can be. Ah! This video brought to you by Squarespace. No, just kidding. I'm sorry. I should probably lay off the coffee. The truth is, while this video is not sponsored by Godox, they just make inexpensive, quality products. Where were we? Right. Okay, now the first thing you need to know about lighting is the bigger the light source, the softer and more pleasing it'll be. If you look at the size of this speed light, you'll see that it's not very big. So we need a way to make it bigger. Now there are basically two ways to do this. Shoot it through something or bounce it off of something. When you see photographers walking around with their flash pointed straight up, what they're actually doing is bouncing it off the ceiling and essentially turning that ceiling into their new source of light. Makes it much bigger and much softer. So to complete our flash setup, we need a shoot-through umbrella. This turns this little light into something this size, all while giving us way more control than just bouncing it off the ceiling would. Great, now that this is set up, how do we use it? All right, the first thing we want to do is make sure that our flash and our trigger are talking to one another. So we're gonna go over here and turn our flash on and make sure it's in slave mode, which it already is, and make sure that they're on the same channel, which is channel 3 on both. And this is in group A right now, so we can go and turn group A on our trigger, and then if we test fire, they should fire. Great. This is awesome. So now what we need to do is make sure that our flash is zoomed out to fill our modifier. No matter what modifier you use, you want to make sure that your flash is filling all of it. That way you're getting the whole benefit of the modifier. So right now we're at 24 millimeters on our zoom. I'll zoom it out to 20, which is as wide as this flash goes. Then we'll pop this on our camera. And we should be all set and ready for our model. All right, so today we have my friend Olivia who is here modeling for us. So Olivia, let's get you set up. Let's go right in the middle towards the back of the backdrop. And then as far as the flash, we're gonna set this up on a 45-degree angle to you and then 45 degrees down. And that'll give us Rembrandt lighting, which is a great place to start for portrait photography. It still keeps some of that contrast in. And then you can kind of dial back the mood if you want, or you can add a little bit more depending on exactly what you want to do. So let's get this set where it needs to be. All right. Perfect, right about there. All right. And now let's dial in the camera settings. So every camera has a max sync speed when it comes to flash. On the A6400, it's 1/160th. For our aperture, I want to be around 3.2. Make sure we have her face and a little bit more in focus. And then for ISO, we'll drop that down to 100. All right, so we'll start our flash power at 1/32, see how that looks, and we'll go from there. All right, here we go. All right, it's a little dark, so I'll bring it up to 1/16 and fire a test shot. Great. Yeah, that's right where we want to be. Another thing to think about is how close your subject is to the background. Where Olivia's standing right now, she's getting a lot of shadow on the shadow side of her, and it's spilling onto the backdrop, so it's kind of falling into darkness. Which if that's the look you're going for, that's awesome, but you can also shift that a little bit. And I'll show you what that looks like. So Olivia, we're gonna have you take a couple steps out, be about 3 feet from the background. Yeah, perfect. And I'm gonna move this to be right where it was before. Let's see. And center you up. Awesome. All right, right there. Yep, yep, perfect. All right, since we moved Olivia away from the backdrop, her shadow isn't as harsh on that background anymore. There's still a little bit of mood on that side, and you can see that from the photo we just took. So if we wanted to, we could move her out even a little bit more, and that would completely separate her from that backdrop, and the backdrop would be completely the same color versus having a little bit of highlight and shadow on that. And so we can do that. We're gonna move you, Olivia, come on out even a little bit more. Keep coming, right about there, perfect. And then I will move the light as well. Same as before, perfect. All right, and we'll take a shot here. And now you can see that the light doesn't affect the backdrop. It is completely one color. She is totally isolated. So you can play around with the distance from the backdrop that your subject is to kind of get the feel that you want and just experiment to lock in that look. One more thing to watch out for is as you're moving your light around, make sure there's a catch light in your subject's eye. If you don't get that, adjust your lighting until you do. So we should be all set. We're gonna mess around, start having fun, taking some portraits, and we'll show you those afterward. All right, let's talk about price. How much did this setup set me back? Well, less than you might think. First, the flash comes in a combo with the speedlight and trigger for just $124. Just a side note, these are a steal for the quality you're getting. I use the Godox system, as do many photographers I know, and these things are fantastic. Next, we have the umbrella coming in at $22. For a bit more, you can get one that comes with a removable black cover that'll give you a little bit more versatility, but you don't need to spend that extra money. Next, the flash bracket comes in at, again, $22. And the light stand, if you don't already have one, comes in around $20 to $30. I believe I got this in a 2-pack for $40, but they're really nothing special. That puts the total cost at just under $195 with a light stand, which is an incredible deal for the versatility you get. Learning the basics of flash photography opens up a world of possibilities. You're suddenly able to get great quality of light anywhere and craft the exact images you want because you're in control of the overall balance of light in your scene, affecting the mood, direction, and tone of your images. Overall, flash will take time to master, but this setup will give you the confidence to walk into any situation and get great looking photos. So don't be afraid to jump in, try it out, make some mistakes, and learn. If you want to purchase this kit, I put some affiliate links in the description. And if you found this helpful, hit the like button and comment below what area of photography you'd like to see a video on next. Until then, have an awesome day, and I'll see you in the next one.